ATP is needed for the cellular energy. It's greatly reduced, and there's no energy, and the poor brain just can't function. How many of you have had, oh, I just can't think today, I can't get it right? You ever gone into a room to get something? What did I come in here for? We've all done it. And the only thing is, it gets worse after you get 50 and 60 and 70, doesn't it? And so that's your trigger. Boy, I'm not drinking enough. I got to get back and get my water, but get the right kind of water. What are the side effects of brain dehydration? One of the side effects is your body starts to use up the antioxidants because of its great need to get rid of body toxins. What is one of the biggest things on the market today? Antioxidants. It's millions of dollars are being spent on antioxidants because they're being used up because of a lack of water. Brain aminos are used up to make up for this lack of water. Tryptophan and tyrosine are amino acids that are mood stabilizers. Their deficiency makes us feel anxious and depressed. Dehydration and mental functioning. Folks, part of my passion is to help you, to give you a tool to get to teachers, to get into schools, to get into our public facilities where our children are being, they're being labeled, they're being given drugs because they cannot have a good memory, they have a fuzzy memory, they can't remember math, and they can't focus. It's loaded in the schools today. And if they had the proper water, this would probably dissipate very quickly. Dehydration lowers the psychomotor processing speed, the memory, the concentration, and fatigue. How many kids and families do you know they come home and they have no energy left? They can't do anything. They want to sleep till noon on the weekends. They can't think through their school to get it done quickly. It's epidemic, folks. It affects their cognitive ability. It impacts their physical performance and their motor skills. So you are the tool, you are the conduit, you are the caucus to be able to go out and spread the word and use this information to share with people, to get into private schools, to get into church schools where they can start giving it to their students and they can see. The teachers won't be screaming at the parents to put their kids on those awful drugs. Brain issues related to dehydration. Does this look like a very hydrated brain to you? It doesn't to me. This is a real picture of a brain, and it's got a problem. Alzheimer's and dehydration, I have known for years in my practice. That has been research proven. Remember, what I'm telling you here is not my opinion. These are documented facts in research that Alzheimer's and all these other things that I'm going to relate to you are coming from documented studies that dehydration plays a significant part in it. Alzheimer's tends toward vasopressin levels, which is responsible for the water being in the right balance. Alzheimer's have increased dehydration. And one of the hardest things that I've seen in my clients that have had Alzheimer's parents or relatives, they can't get them to drink. Once they're past a certain level, it's very, very hard to get them to ingest the water. So what I say is, if you can only get a little bit of water in people, for heaven's sakes, get the right kind of water in the people so that it's hydrating water. Anxiety and panic attacks, they are rampant. People are paralyzed with panic attacks and anxiety. And what happens? They don't have water. They've got their cup of coffee next to them on the road. They got their coffee in the morning, or they've got their soda at work. Sweating and nauseous, shortness of breath, dizziness, lightheadedness, unsteady and fearful. These are all signs of dehydration and anxiety and panic attacks. This is something that when families deal with anorexia and bulimia, if they would know how important hydration is, they could probably save a lot of money and a lot of stress. I've dealt with families with this problem. How many of you have ever known anybody with this problem? It's very serious, and it's very life-threatening. And they have severe dieting issues. They have little or no intake of fluids. they starve themselves, they binge, they vomit, they lose their appetite, they have anxiety, sleep disturbance, fatigue, lack of well-being, depression, irritation. All of those are brain problems. All of those are brain dehydration. Comas. I'm dealing with several people right now in comas, and I've found every single one of them is like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4% hydrated in their brain. They're barely hanging on, and they've been in these comas by God's grace for a long time. And if they would only get them on the water, so far these families haven't been too able to do that, but they can move them because the water is the electrical force that will wake up the brain and help them to be able to function and get things moving. It can, comas, see, the brain and the body shuts down, and when the body is so dehydrated, well, we think because they had a brain accident and they got it hit on the head that that they can't come out of that coma because of that. Folks, I'm telling you, they can't come out because their body doesn't have enough energy in the brain or in the body to do the connections to get it to wake up. In an advanced terminal cases, dehydration is a very important factor. And hydration is a key factor in coma and delirium. It's very important that you use microclustered, ionized, alkaline water to quickly and efficiently hydrate the brain. Bipolar. It's a very serious issue. Some people have it very, very bad. Causes anxiety, depression, rapid mood changes, compulsions, loss of energy and irritation. And again, it's related in scientific studies to dehydration. Depression. I've told you some about this already, but it's a huge thing. I think that we would see a major turnaround. It's one of the #1 drugs that's given out is kind of drugs for depression. When the brain is chronically dehydrated, all the functions suffer. The brain needs tryptophan, an amino acid, to make the serotonin. You've heard of the drugs that create serotonin and help that to balance. It really doesn't balance them, it makes them more dehydrated, which then makes melatonin, which helps them sleep and get rest so they can function in their day. The amount of serotonin made is dependent upon adequate what? Water in the brain, and the right kind of water. Moods. How many of you ever had moody kids? I had a moody husband and an angry husband, and he would not be upset with me telling you this because we fixed him and he's thrilled to be fixed. But he was a forceps baby, so he had some brain injury. And folks, by the way, all of these issues where they have more of a tendency when they get dehydrated, because not all of us, when we get dehydrated, go bipolar or go anorexic or go into depression. I believe there's plenty of evidence in the research to show us that they have an incident, shock or trauma or some kind of an event that has caused an injury in the brain. And in my husband's case, this was his forceps birth. So we put him through our brain programs and helped the circuits to reconnect, and he was doing so much better. But since he's been in water, he has seen even more improvement and more help. But there's one little time when we're driving long trips, and what is it with men that they don't like to drink? They got the easiest job in the world to stop anywhere, and women don't have that privilege in life. Well, my husband won't drink very much, on the road, and I'm guzzling and stopping all the way along, and he'll get real fussy when we're on trips, and I just say, "You just dehydrated, honey." And he is. So it's associated with negative mood. When you see yourself getting grouchy and, others around you, it's because they are dehydrated. Multiple sclerosis. A big problem. It's very sad to see this. You can get well from multiple sclerosis, but it means many scars. And one of the causes of exacerbations is dehydration. Not